What's going on, guys? I want to talk today about the Generation 10 Pokemon Gimmick in the Japanese logo, right? You can see the Japanese logos always have a little hint at what, or they have basically the icon, the tool. They give us some information visually about what the gimmick, the Pokemon Gimmick would be. And as you can see in X and Y, you can see the Mega symbol in Sun and Moon. You can see the Z crystal, so on. And in the Japanese Generation 10 logo, you can see this little, let me zoom in and enhance. You can see this little thing right here. And I want to talk about what that is. And I think, listen, everything in today's video might not be 100% perfect, but I think I got a lot of evidence I want to lay out for you, and then you can make the decision on whether or not you think any of this has any credence. But I think I've put a lot of this together. So we've got, let me zoom in and enhance just so you guys can actually see it. This is kind of what the image is, right? And I didn't really know what this is. It definitely just looks like a Pokeball. But I had a conversation with my friend Loxton today on my podcast, and he kind of revealed to me that what this thing is called is a raiment, or a raiment is kind of what it is. And he explained to me that you see this in a lot of different media. I think it's even in One Piece. And basically, it's a type of like fabric. It's like a type of clothing, like almost like a scarf. And basically, the way it is used, it's kind of a way to showcase. It's like the Eastern version of angel wings. It's to show some sort of divine connection to the gods or to heaven. That's kind of how it's used, right? This is what it is. It's kind of like it like wraps around and then it flares out on the sides, and you've seen this in a lot of different places. Kuro Blitz also right here mentions that it kind of looks like the Omega symbol, which is kind of cool, and he mentions that it is kind of looks similar to the Hago Romo. I don't even know what that is, to be quite honest with you, but I thought this was kind of interesting. It's shown right here with these two creatures. But basically, the takeaway that I had after he told me this, I, offline, was thinking that I think it's pretty weird. Actually, I made a video earlier that these two Pikachu, let me see if I can get this right, Mr. Wavy Chew and Mr. Windy Chew and Miss Wavy Chew are these Pikachus, right? And they're pretty weird. They kind of look like regional forms, right? They do look very different. And my theory in another video was that essentially that these are going to be subjects that the legendary Pokemon, the box art legendaries, will bestow their power into. And I feel like the fact that these Pikachus are not only clothed, because the clothing is maybe a little bit silly. I think what's more important is what is on their tail. Miss Wavy Chew has a like blue bow around its tail, and Mr. Wavy Chew, let me see if I can zoom in and enhance right here. Mr. Windy Chew, I'm sorry, has this band, there's some sort of like keychain on his tail, and it looks very similar to that Omega symbol that we see in the logo right here. It's this loop, and then it's got like a button, a circle in the middle. It looks like this. And so where is he? He's right here, and I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. And so again, offline, what I was thinking about was this concept that we've all been talking about forever, which is armored evolution. This is something that we've all been talking about forever. It's just been like kind of floating around. We've seen it kind of in the anime where like it's never going to happen. I think also because we think about armor as like metal knights, like it's medieval armor, medieval armor, but like that doesn't need to be the case. Armor can be magical. Armor can be literally clothing. It's this raiment that we were talking about, right? It's this it could just be this Chinese raiment, an article of clothing that has some sort of magical powers to protect the user. And then it got me thinking about another thing that I love so much in the Pokemon space, which is that like I do like the idea of customizing a Pokemon, giving it clothing, and there are certain games like Pokemon Go and Unite that go like far. They just go way too far with the clothing, and they're basically trying to make the Pokemon look like humans, that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm mostly thinking about held items, right? Like a what is it? Like a silk scarf, a choice scarf, choice band. Like they're a King's Rock. There are different held items that are already in a Pokemon game that kind of function as clothing, and this is where it all came together for me. This is where it all came together. Every single Pokemon gimmick basically takes inspiration from an existing mechanic, a core mechanic in battle, and exaggerates it to its furthest conclusion, right? Evolution turns into Mega Evolution. We got Pokemon moves turning into Z moves. We got, I guess I was going to say, Gigantamax is kind of like a collection of a lot of different things, to be honest with you. But I guess you could say maybe it has to do with like the Pokeball itself, like having a Pokeball instead shrink down, it gets even bigger. That one's a little bit wishy-washy, but terrestrialization, it focuses on the Pokemon's type and then exemplifies it even further. And so I guess I can't help but think the held item of a Pokemon, which very often can have really key effects. Maybe it's the held item. Maybe there are 10 held items. Thinking about Dragon Balls, right? Maybe there's like 10 held items, let's say, that are bestowed by the gods, the box legendary Pokemon, or maybe 19. I don't know, right? Pick a number. And then those are the items that once you equip it to your Pokemon like a Mega Stone, it gives the Pokemon a specific power, a specific look. I don't know what. But it's basically an ultimate held item, right? That's kind of the idea. One more piece of evidence where I'm just connecting this all together is, where is it? Right here. My buddy Soul put this together, but this has been a long-standing theory for a long time. This idea that ever since Generation 5, it has seemed like 2 Pokemon will be introduced that very nicely match the species or the vibe of what the box legendary Pokemon are in the next game. So in Generation 5, we have Sawsbuck, which is a deer, and then you got these 2 birds, but mostly Braviary is kind of the one I'm thinking about. Braviary is red, but its counterpart, Vullaby, is like a dark flying type Pokemon. It's a whatever it's called, a vulture. And then in the very next game, X and Y, you have a deer and a bird of death, a bird of prey, as the box legends. And then in Gen 6, right, you get the Lion of Pyroar, you got Noivern. In the very next game, the box legendaries are a lion and a bat. In Generation 7, we have the 2 different evolutions of Rockruff. And guess what? We have 2 different dogs as the box legends of Gen 8 in the very next game, right? Zacy and Zamazenta, same thing. Then you have these two forms of lizards, right? You've got, high key, low key form lizards through Toxtricity in Generation 8, right? Guess what? We have these 2 different forms of Cyclizar as the box legends of Gen 9. Like that, I mean, that's not crazy. That's 4 generations in a row, and I don't think any of those are a stretch. The key thing here is that each of these Pokemon, it's like really rooted in what the species is. Like the species, like a bat turns into a bat, right? Like that's the connection. And so you could literally look at the entire Generation 9 decks and be like, I don't know where this is going, right? Which of these Gen 9 Pokemon could potentially hint at what the box legends are going to be in Gen 10? And I think it's been kind of cool to think about. My favorite, Ceruledge and Armarouge, are split evolutions. This is where it gets cool. They're split evolutions of Charcadet, and guess what? Charcadet evolves depending on the armor that you give it. I don't know. I'm not crazy. This didn't all come together, like this all came together separately, and then I'm just like, wait a second. It is actually fitting together so perfectly. We could be getting, basically, this is my pitch. Gen 10 is a gimmick that is an enhanced version of held items. Right? If Charcadet is the Pokemon in Gen 10, you give it this mystical, godly, this item that has been bestowed power from the gods. You give it to your Pokemon, and it is able to become this crazy. We get new forms out of this. I don't know, something like that. It's crazy. And I think all of the leaks that are saying, like, there's a rumor going around, and I think it's a misinterpretation of the leaks. There is leaked information, and I think it was improperly translated, or it's like being people are assuming what it means. Everyone's saying that the Gen 10 gimmick is going to have something to do with weather, and I think what it is actually is that the legendary Pokemon, the Wind and Wave legendary Pokemon, are related to weather, therefore giving their powers to our Pokemon, and then that's the connection there. I at one point had thought maybe it was like a Pokemon would level up or something depending on the environment, but then everything is just kind of like there's no strategy there. You can't customize it. No matter where you are, you're limited to wherever you are. And I like this so much. We literally could actually see armored evolution. Is there any other points I wanted to make? I don't think so. Let me know what you guys think about this. It really feels kind of crazy to me. And Pikachu is just Pikachu is so weird. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more Gen 10 theories, videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.